Hi everyone, welcome to the fifth episode of BEDCAST, and today we have Simren Lalani, whom I've known for what 15 years,
About
more
15
than a
years,
decade
yeah.
now, and we've known each other. We started working together when I was directing something and Simren was acting, and I mean it's been a journey knowing each other. And Simren, how have you been?
Like you said, it's been a journey, but I've been good. I mean, to be back here, having this podcast with you
Right,
is pretty cool. It's full circle.
right, and we filmed in this house.
And we film in this house multiple times, so
Right,
this is like another film home for me. But yeah, it's just cool to see how both of us have kind of evolved over these 15 years.
right.
So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for joining me, and then I think I'm really excited to talk to you about certain things which I feel could be relatable to a lot of people who are in this journey as an actor and
Or
the journey
directing.
of directing and the journey of self discovery. And that just brings me to ask you, how have you been as a person and how do you feel you have grown as a person ever since you started acting? You started acting very early.
Yeah, I started acting 15 years ago. So exactly when we met was kind of, you were probably one of the first directors I ever worked with in Houston. And I feel like I was 15 when I started. I'm going to be 30 this year. And I feel like when I started acting, it was such a new landscape for me, that I was still trying to figure out, obviously, like who I am as an actor, what acting even is, what it means to be on a film set, how stories are actually told on a film set and film production. I do feel going into my 30s now more equipped to play the roles that I feel like I was getting cast
Mm-hmm.
typed as and casted as back in the day, but I didn't have the experience to back up those roles and bring to those roles and
Mm-hmm.
characters. So I feel like now, having had my 20s to experience the world and life and relationships and heartbreak and love, all the things that I didn't have the experience of at 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now I'm more ready than I've ever been to do the roles that I want to do going
Right.
into 30. So, there's no age
Mm-hmm.
limit to being an actor. I feel like the older you get, the more experience you gain to bring into
Right.
these characters. So
Right.
it's interesting how that works, because back then you're like, oh, I have to make it by 18
Mm-hmm.
to be, a successful actor. But that's not true. Sometimes you have to live out your life, to be able to play the roles that you want
Mm-hmm.
to play. And
Right.
that's what I feel like happened.
Yeah, no, and I mean, there's one part of me which watches you, which I feel that whenever I had something to talk to you about, like, oh, say Simran, I have this thing to film, and would you be interested to play a role in it or to play a lead in it? And you've always said yes, and you're always excited to do it, and you take up a lot of efforts to do that. But I don't think it's that easy the way I see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of self doubting and a lot
Oh,
of.
yeah.
I mean, 15 years is a long time since you've been acting, and did you have you been through your own journey of self-doubting, giving up, that it's not working out, it's not for me, it's been so many years, it's not working out, that means it probably would never work? Have you been through?
In all honesty, I know that's a very typical thing for actors to go through,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason, with everything in my life, I've had the most patience with acting, because I think I realized early on that I looked a lot older than I was
Mm-hmm.
back then. And so I was being casted for certain roles that were a lot older and I didn't feel equipped for, but I never felt like I was, like it wasn't for me, or I was missing my time, or, that I shouldn't be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely been doubt that's come in from like family, because obviously being a Pakistani,
Hmm.
teen, not dropping out of college to act. I mean, that's not every Pakistani parent's dream. So
Mm-hmm.
there was definitely a lot of, family and in the beginning that kind of doubted me, and that never filled doubt inside of me, but it did make me feel upset because I wasn't being the person that they wanted me to be
Mm-hmm.
for them. And I remember having this moment in New York when I was living out in New York for a bit, and my mom and my sister were visiting me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was waiting tables, trying to figure out this acting thing. And I remember my mom and I and my sister sitting in a Mexican restaurant. And it was like a scene from a movie where it's like we're in this small Mexican restaurant in New York, Manhattan, and it's pouring down rain, and we're stranded here having our margaritas and just talking about life. And out of nowhere, my mom goes, "So what's your plan? You know, like, what are you doing with your life?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I should have expected this conversation, but I didn't. It surprised me because I thought she had come to terms with me figuring out acting. And she told me that day that, and she hates the story because, you know, obviously she doesn't feel this way now, but in that moment, she wanted to do anything she could to get me to go back to school and just give up on this. And so she was like, you know, you're the worst actor I have ever seen.
She said that?
Yeah, she's like, you're the worst actress I've ever seen. I don't know what you're doing with your life. And like, what is your plan? And I remember in that moment, I couldn't believe what she had just said. And so I went to the bathroom and I had this like moment with God, really, is what it felt like, where I just looked in the mirror. Like I had this breakdown for a second, and I looked in the mirror and was like, God, this is so tough to like not pursue this and become an actor and go on the journey of becoming an actor. But it was harder for me to get the people around me that I wanted to believe in me to believe in me and to believe in my dreams like I did.
Right.
You know, so it was never my doubt. It was always other people's doubts that creeped in. And in that moment, I remember for a second, I was like, oh God, like this is too painful. Like, is this even worth it? And before I could even finish that thought, I remember just snapping out of it and being like, I can't give up. Like, I have to keep going. Like, it is worth it. Like, this is my journey.
Right.
And so I like got myself together and I went back out there and I acted like nothing she said ever happened. And we walked out of there, and my mom and my sister were both very confused because usually I don't let go of things that fast. But I knew at that point that there was nothing that I could say to make her believe in me. I just had to go and show her what I could do. And it just wasn't worth the argument, because as long as I believed in myself, that was enough. And that's kind of what's kept me going, is just my belief has become stronger regardless of other people's doubts around me.
How old were you when that happened?
I was probably 22 when that happened.
Okay. And then you believed in God back then? I mean, you still do?
I'm a very God's girl. And before, I used to be very hesitant even saying the word God, because, you know, people's relationships are different with it.
Right.
But I feel like God is my best friend today. And I feel like he's always had my back. And, you know, I know that people through their life journey find God. But I've started to say that God found me at a really young age as a troubled little girl who was just lonely and, you know, depressed and sad in our own home and just didn't really have anybody. And I feel like that's when God found me and was like, you're mine, I will guide you. You know, don't worry, I got your back. And that's just kind of how I've felt my whole life. Because from a very early age, no matter what situation I was in, I always had this voice in my head that told me that where I was in that moment was not where I was going to be forever. Like, there's going to be a brighter day. There's going to be a brighter side. There is going to be light outside of this this darkness that you're around, you know? And so that's what's kept me going. And I feel like it shows up anytime any doubt or fear or darkness creeps in, that voice or just God, you know, like, will pop in. And so I've sought out God now. Like, I've studied Buddhism a little bit. I've obviously, you know, am from Islam, and I study Christianity a little bit. I go to Jamaat Khana, I go to church. I tap into God as much as I can. Just because that's what I feel like has gotten me through a lot of these times.
Yeah, it's a lie if someone says that, you know, I've never had a moment of self-doubt, or I know how to control my self-doubt. I think that thing never goes. I think even the most beautiful person, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they feel that they're ugly in some ways, right? I mean, there's always a self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
So now, when your parents are doubting you, when you're going through auditions, you have someone better than you. There's so much of self-doubt. You're self-doubting yourself, whether I really know the craft or where do I even stand. Probably was God your strength at the time, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's weird. It's weird because there's no like proof, right, of God. But there's moments and experiences and stories that I've had that I can tell you the story of, and there's multiple occasions where I'm like, whoa, like how did this happen, or where did this idea or this light or this guidance come from? But the only way I can explain it is God, and I feel like the more I tap into him, the more he taps into me. So it's just something that I've strengthened over time because it has changed my life, having faith. And so I live by it now, and I try to preach it to anybody that I am very preachy. So if I meet someone new, within the first 15 minutes or 10 minutes of talking to me, I'll probably mention God like 5 times. Like I'm very godly. Like I love God. So that's just one thing. I even remember there was a time when I had an acting coach, one of my first acting coaches, who gave me my first opportunity in a short film, and then the sequel to that. I remember him telling me at a boot camp in Virginia one day in front of all these other casting directors that I remember him being like, you're pretty, because they were talking about cast types. And he was like, you're pretty, but you're not the prettiest. You probably won't be casted as the prettiest lead. You'll probably be casted as one of the, females supporting this, but you're not very like lead pretty. And mind you, this was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So it was definitely a different time, but that always stuck with me because I was like, wow, like it's so easy for doubters and people just who think they know it all about your life and where your life is supposed to go and who you are, and they try to plant these seeds of doubt and fear into you. But to me, like at the end of the day, no matter what anybody, like for someone to tell me that my dream is impossible is like the biggest pusher and driver for me to make it possible.
Right.
It's just always been that way, and I don't know if I'm built that way. But having that built, and then also like I have surrender tattooed on me, so having that belief and that built of that like warrior mentality of like nothing can put me down,
right,
which I've built over time because the people closest to me have tried to put me down,
right,
so that kind of was built over time, that resilience,
right.
And having that faith, and then surrendering it to God and believing that, maybe right now, 15 years ago, I wasn't going to land my dream lead role, but maybe 15, 20, 30 years from now, who knows?
Yeah.
So I think the only limitation you can put on your career and yourself as a person is the one that you create for yourself.
Right.
I've always believed, and that's what has brought me to opportunities. That's what's brought me, 15 years later, I'm still acting. Acting's the only consistent thing in my life.
Right.
It's just because that belief in it is so strong.
Right.
It's unbreakable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you mentioned about like people doubting you, and and I'm sure you might have faced this before, but if someone comes to you and says that, oh, you're an actor, so are there any films I know?
Oh my God, that is the number one question I get.
And if you say that no, then I thought you said you're acting for 15 years.
Yeah.
So do you feel like punching their face, or do you feel?
Oh yeah.
And you can be honest. I mean,
not necessarily punching their face, because violence is never the answer.
I mean,
in most cases.
In your head, I mean, have you felt like punching their face?
Honestly, it is the most frustrating, and that's why I don't usually tell people that I'm an actor. Usually, so now I have the social media company, so I've been doing that for 2 years. But so I introduce myself as a CEO, and then if they find out I'm an actor, that's great. But for me, it's like when I make a film worthy of you finding out that I'm an actor, you'll know. Like I don't need to go around and tell people that I'm an actor. But
and these are not the people you network with anyway.
These are exactly. So, when it does come up, it's usually because a client or a friend of mine has been like, oh yeah, she's an actor. She has a film on Amazon Prime, this and that. Then I'm like, oh gosh, like here we go with the follow-up questions, which are, have you been in anything I know? Right. And so, yeah, I do get a little, it could be worse. I could have nothing to show for, and I could have no answers. But I think I'm just lucky enough to have pursued something for so long and have people that are even slightly intrigued in what I'm doing. And so I mean, yeah, sometimes I get a little upset, but it could be worse. They could be saying nothing.
Right.
You know?
But it's also, it's also empowering that if you're doing something for 15 years,
Yeah.
that's an achievement in itself.
It's weird.
And that cannot be measured by just money.
Yeah.
It's something, it's a strength, right?
It is.
I mean, very few people can actually hold on to. And I'm lucky enough to know of quite few people who have been acting for 15, 20 years since they're kids, like since they're like 6 year old, they've been acting and they know they're good. Everyone around them knows they're good,
Yeah.
but they're just waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah.
And I know that right now they're in a situation where they are going to create opportunities for themselves. We are going to create opportunities for
Yes.
ourselves. We just discussed about something we're trying to create because we don't want to wait for opportunities, and
Yeah.
we want to so I think it's something I feel you should be proud of, because I think it's your personality. It's a part of your life now.
Yeah,
Right?
it is.
And it's only going to make it better.
Exactly, with
Right.
time, right? But same
Yeah.
thing with you. Like, I feel like we've kind of both been very, we've been kind of like parallel in going on this journey
Right.
of discovering ourselves in this industry. So it's been very interesting to see you also become such a, director that we saw you being 15 years ago, but it's just cool to have seen you create so many different ways of expression out of the work that you've done.
Right.
So to kind of turn it back to you, what do you feel like, based on 15 years ago till now, what do you feel like has evolved most in you as a director, but also the type of stories that you were creating versus want to create now?
Right. I think I feel that I'm technically more sound. And maybe it sometimes is positive and negative both. Positive because I feel that I know what it needs to create, but negatively because I feel that I know it so much that I would not attempt it unless I have everything what I need.
You're a perfectionist.
Yeah, because like when you're young, you're fearless. You'll just jump it and do it, and you'll
Yeah.
create bad stuff.
Yeah.
But now you're more hesitant because people are judging you, and so that's one part of it. But I think like it has just like matured me about how I see life, and what are the stories I want to work on, and probably work on limited stuff, working with limited people, but create some good stuff.
Yeah.
Something which is not created before and comes with a sense of responsibility. So I think it's an interesting place to be, where you're learning, you're always learning, and that's the fun part of it. It's so unpredictable. I'm fine with the uncertainty of it, because I think somehow I've always chosen things which have like 5% success ratio, because in cancer research,
Yeah.
the success ratio is like 5%.
Yeah.
Then I got into filmmaking, success ratio is like less than 5%.
Yeah.
Restaurant, success ratio is almost 2 to 3%. But I enjoy the uncertainty of it.
Yeah.
I don't see myself doing a stable 9 to 5 job where I know what's going to happen and everything is predictable and everything's so perfect. I don't know. For me, there's no thrill. I don't know. Have you tried working into 9 to 5?
Yeah, I've had many different 9 to 5s, but again, it goes back to like the curiosity and the adventure that lies in the unknown that I feel like is so intriguing. And I feel like us as storytellers, we are storytellers because of how fascinated we are by the unknowingness of stories and how they're going to end, or how they're going to be created, or how they're going to unfold.
Right.
And the mystery in that, and so I think, and the intrigue in that. So I think, when you're put into a box, it's more difficult to be creative and imaginative. Whereas if you have the whole world and universe as your oyster, then it's limitless and it's expansive, and it can be whatever you want it to be. So I think it's definitely not in everybody to be this way. So we're definitely different, is what I've learned. And I think that's just, to me, that's a strength,
Right.
So maybe back then it was a little more difficult because we were trying to fit into places that we didn't belong. But I feel like these 15 years have kind of, and I feel like you're kind of on the same page, where it's kind of taught us that our uniqueness and differentness and curiosity is what makes us, is what is making us successful and will make us successful,
Right.
So I don't know. I'm
Right.
happy to be who we are, Hirsch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Likewise. And thinking about when you mentioned about like self discovery, and we discussed about a little bit about that, but um, when you reflect into some of the wounds or bruises you have had in life,
Mm-hmm.
have they helped you to shape yourself as a better actor, or have they limited you, or have they like how is it like, or do you want to sometimes you don't want to revisit them, or when you are casted for that, or
Yeah.
you're fine, or you're happy that I know this.
Yeah. So that honestly, I feel like this is such a innate part of who I am. That's why I have so much patience with it, because I'm like, even if I get my big role when I'm 50, like I'll be okay. Like I just to me this is just who I am. And I find joy and pleasure in exploring and unveiling emotions that humans feel and experiences that humans feel and go through. I think life has always taught us to suppress these emotions and feelings and thoughts and stories. And I've always been the complete opposite, where I want the naked truth of everything, and I want people to know the naked truth of everything, and I want them to see and feel the naked truth of everything. And I think there's beauty in that, because there's beauty in feeling. And so I think, whenever I experience anything in life, and I know Aaron Spicer, who was my acting coach in LA, who coaches like Will Smith, Jennifer Lopez, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, like he's coached some of my favorite actors and actresses. He used to start off class every day.
So he still coaches them, or
he's still coaching them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the on-set coach for Bad Boys 2 recently, or the most recent Bad Boys. Fast and Furious, they were on set, the most recent one. So I mean, they're very much so involved still, and he still privately coaches them and then does classes. And he's hanging in there. He's an old guy, like he's really hanging in there. So it's just, I mean, it's really nice to see that. But he used to always start class off by saying, he would do like a lecture, and then we would go into scene study. But he would always be like, go out there and fall in love, fall out of love, get your heart broken, make mistakes, feel things, experience things, like go and experience life. Because if you're not experiencing life, what stories do you have to tell? What experiences do you have to bring to these characters and these worlds that these characters live in? How do you even build on that? You're just using imagination at that point. So I think because I heard him say that early on, that's when I really started becoming more adventurous with life. And I had always been this way, but that made me feel like I was going into the world and life as like a student of acting and film, because I was exploring human emotions in a different way. I was becoming more aware of what I was experiencing, because I was actually processing things. Because as an actor, like you have to process other characters' emotions. You have to process, you have to put yourself in these shoes of these characters in this world. So in order for you to understand that, how are you going to understand that if you haven't even done that with yourself and the life that you've lived and are living? So I look forward to experiences that I have in life as a crazy person. And I definitely am like, okay, this is another layer that I've tapped into now in myself that I can bring to the screen or story.
Right.
So every tragedy that I've experienced, I'm like, okay, this is a great story because I found light on the other side of it. So this is a great, and I think people relate to these things. People relate to tragedy because people experience tragedy. But we don't tell enough stories that unveil these tragedies, that make people feel less alone and help people come out of it, help people come find the light outside of this darkness. So those are the types of stories I want to tell, and it's not necessarily like that for every actor. But I love depth, and I love the human experience and what humans experience, and I guess are challenged by day to day. And that's what brings us together. So I think, for me, having these experiences to bring to the screen and tell these stories, and now even writing, it's very beautiful. And when I have a character that is more has a heavy experience or some sort of tragedy, to a certain extent, it does impact you when you're going into studying the depth of the character and these experiences, especially if you haven't had them yet. I remember for conception, I was studying about women and couples who go through IVF. And that's an experience I've never had. Like, I'm not married. I've never had a baby. Like, I've never gone through IVF. So I had to get into these, into these characters' lives.
Right.
And I didn't take much of that back into my life because I think I learned early on how to separate those.
Right.
So it's never been an issue for me. But I definitely do take real life experiences into work because I think that's what they're there for.
Absolutely. And talking about, acting coaches, I think when you mentioned, like, you spoke about an acting coach who was Coach Will Smith. Do you need to have a lot of money to afford them?
No, he's pretty affordable. I think it only gets
How much does it cost? Like, just
I
for
think
people
his
to have
month-to-month classes are like less than $300.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. So he's built a very good model.
Yeah.
And his classes, he does technique days, scene study days, and you can pop into as many classes as you want.
Right.
But your class is one day a week where you go up.
These are online or in person?
No, in person.
In person.
I think he does online too. But
Online too? Okay.
yeah.
Because, end of the day, for an actor, what is the most they can invest in themselves?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when you go on a big set, you just have to walk in and everything is given to you.
Yeah.
Right? You don't, I know that in short films and the stuff we do sometimes, like, we bring our own props and you bring your own assets and stuff, like, and to make sure that the project looks much better than what we have with the production availability and stuff. But, I think the biggest investment you can have is in yourself, right?
I agree.
Your personal growth and your growth as an actor.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think, because I've spoken to some people and sometimes they feel that I know it. I have had an acting coach for 2 years, 3 years, and probably I don't need an acting coach. But do you think you need an acting coach for life?
It depends on how great of an actor you want to be and how great of projects you want to create, right? And the people that you want to work with, because Will Smith is still hiring an acting coach.
Right.
Jason Statham is still, so
Right.
these actors who are making these big productions that we look up to, they're still hiring acting coaches.
Because again, they're chasing greatness, right?
Yes, and it's a muscle. It's like working out, right? Like vocal, physical, emotional, even spiritual. I'll tap into. Like it's all a muscle, and I feel like when I've been out of class and training for too long, I feel rusty getting back into it. I feel rusty auditioning because I'm like, these are muscles that I haven't warmed up in a while for me to be able to dive into these complex of characters.
Right.
So I think it is important to keep training. It's like anything. It's muscle memory. So the more you do it, the stronger it gets. And obviously Will Smith probably doesn't need as extensive training as maybe a beginner would, but he's still hiring to still take it to that next level, so to still get it right, because there's a lot of things that maybe you won't see that a coach may bring out of you or a director may bring out of you.
Yeah.
So it's good to be open and to be willing to play. I feel like when you get on set, especially if the director allows it, because sometimes the director knows exactly what he wants from you, exactly what to do in what shot and what line and what frame, and that's okay too, because they're hiring you to tell their story.
Right.
But then there's directors that want you to bring your creativity and your ideas and be open and willing to discover on set while you're shooting. So, for me, I love that. Like, I love to get on set and play. Like, let's try it different ways. Like, let's, so but you have to be willing, you have to have the right tools, and your muscles have to be warmed up for you to be able to do those things. So it really just depends on what type of actor you want to be, I think, to be able to.
It's kind of like an exercise, right?
It's an exercise for sure.
Let's say you want to go do bodybuilding, you want to go posing. You always have
Trainers,
right? If you are doing beauty pageants, and there are people doing beauty pageants for years, they have trainers, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the year, and they train for that one pageant for the entire year.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you've been into beauty pageants yourself and stuff, right? So definitely I agree that, you need to have an acting coach. You need to have that sounding board
Mm-hmm.
who tells you what not to do.
We're not perfect. We're
Right.
human,
Right.
so.
Right. And they're looking at you from an exterior.
Mm-hmm.
They know you because you don't know how it is unless it's actually filmed and it's seen,
Yeah.
right? But they're watching you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some difficult questions.
Okay.
And I have the comfort of talking to you, so of course I can ask you this question. But when you're playing a character,
Mm-hmm.
you're being naked, you're being vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
you're being honest to the co-actors. Are there instances that you start feeling attracted towards an actor because you're spending so much time,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a feature film, and there are chances that you might get attracted, you start liking them,
Yeah.
and then how do you remind yourself that I have to be professional, or maybe, but people fall in love
Yeah.
on sets,
Yeah.
and that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? Like, what do you feel?
Oh God, this is a very vulnerable moment. But okay, in all honesty, luckily I have never had a situation where I've maybe had a crush on like a co-star or anybody acting in the film with me.
Yeah,
Luckily.
and it can be a healthy crush. I mean,
And it can be a healthy
like
crush.
in a fun way. Yeah.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened yet. Usually it's the crew that I have a crush on, somebody in the crew. Because for me, it's just film nerdiness is very attractive. Like
Right.
I love that. So, I've had that in the past, but it's never been like on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I mean, it just makes, even though I mean, set is home. So, going to set is already so amazing,
Yeah.
but having a film set crush is even more fun, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's definitely easy for me to separate the two because I feel like when I get on set, all I care about is what we're doing and
Right.
the picture we're creating and the story we're telling and connecting with the crew and the
Right.
cast. Because I do feel like, especially if you're a lead, it is your duty to make everybody on set feel as comfortable as you can,
Right.
being the lead, and making sure that everybody knows that you're open and collaborative and
Right.
easygoing.
Right.
Because I do think that there's, this mentality that when you're an actor on set,
Right.
you have to stay to yourself. And I mean, there's a certain level of obviously, you need to be able to make sure that you're prepared and,
Yeah.
on your stuff.
Right.
But I do try to get involved with the crew as much as I can and be, see the production happening, even in scenes that I'm not in, just
Right.
because I do love the production side of things also.
Mm-hmm.
And to see like the directors do their thing and
Right.
the whole crew do their thing and seeing everything come together, I think is my favorite part when I'm not acting. So yeah, it's been easy. Thank you for for separating the two.
Yeah.
So
But
no
also, I
juicy
mean,
stories yet.
Once you get into studios and production houses, like, they also make you sign
Yeah.
contracts that you cannot fall in love with any of the crew members or the actors.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they make you sign that because, I mean, they're,
Hollywood's not doing a good job at upholding that though.
I mean, maybe there would have been more cases if, I think, because, I mean, it's very easy, right? You're spending like hours and days and months and years sometimes, and then a film might get shut down.
Yeah.
If two people fall in love and then they fall off, and then they don't want to see each other, they hate each other, they cannot just stand each other.
Yeah.
Because you go through this phase of relationship, right? When you start liking someone and everything is perfect, but then you start having jealousy and you start having issues, and then there are films which have been shut down because of that.
Wow.
So there's so many of those instances, so it can get tricky,
Yeah.
right? So I think, but also, I mean, I've also seen the other side of it where you're so serious about filmmaking and acting and everything that it also comes with a lot of loneliness. It also comes because you're working with weird hours. You're doing 12-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts on sets, that you missed a family event, you missed a friend's event, and you missed birthdays, and it comes with a lot of sacrifices. And then when you're free, no one else is free,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So how do you deal? Have you dealt with loneliness, and how have you dealt with it?
When I was living in LA, I was doing a lot of I was getting on a lot of sets for like little roles here and there just to be on productions and learn. And I remember I would have, again, anywhere from 12 to 16-hour days. And so there was a time when I wasn't going out or had many friends or was dating or anything like that because all I was focused on was being on set.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely lonely in the social aspect, but I think because of how just my crew and set has always been home to me for as long as, for 15 years, as much as I've been on set. And so it's easy for me to find home and meet people and make friends on set. So I think that's what kept me from really, really being lonely, because even then, like, I was building these connections with people that cared about the same things and had the interest in the same things and were wanting to learn more about the same things. So there was a lot of alignment there, which I think helped me not feel lonely,
Right.
even though I was alone.
Right.
So, that's why I feel like being on set is such a beautiful thing, and having, your just the people that you meet on set, it's really like no other industry, because you go to work and people don't get as close in an office or in a team in a business as they do on set. And I think that's something special that we get as filmmakers and storytellers, is we get to really connect with the people that we're creating with, to be able to tell these naked, vulnerable stories, because we are all being vulnerable. We're all in the same space of vulnerability, and it has to be a safe space.
Right.
And so it's important for everybody to feel comfortable with each other,
Right.
because there happen intimate scenes where, the crew's in the room and you have to be comfortable with the crew. And if I know that I have an intimate scene in this film, like, I make sure that I am comfortable with everybody in the room, and that they know that I'm not comfortable with them, so that they don't feel uncomfortable.
And there's safety measures, and
Exactly.
it's already pre-planned and it's already
Exactly.
discussed. And
But there's still so much you can do as an actor, because
Right.
you really do carry the weight of the room, and you will either make that weight heavier or you'll make it lighter for everybody.
right.
And so I do take pride in being a people person, and being able to go to set and making sure that everybody feels comfortable to be around me, because I don't know, sometimes people do have their judgments about actresses. I remember there was this one short that I did. It was a few years ago, and the crew was super tense the first day. They had never met me, and I was the lead in it. They had never met me. It was the first day of production. The director, they had only spoken to her, and so they were a little hesitant, but very like very I guess intrigued as to how production was going to go for this film, because they had never met me, or they didn't know how easy I would be to work with, and they knew that the script was complex, the scene was complex, and we had a short amount of time, so they were nervous about the first day. And I remember after the first take that I did in a boxing gym, of like a boxing scene, it was a very short take, but I remember the whole crew, like, I felt like everybody around me just like took a deep breath and just like released. And I was like, okay, like, I didn't think too much of it, but I found out when we wrapped, we were at our wrap party, and they were like, dude, the first day everybody was so terrified by like how this production was going to go. But as soon as you did that first scene, everybody's like weight was lifted off their shoulders, because they saw how easy you would be to work with.
Right.
And I was like, wow, like, as an actor, that's like one of the, like, I get goosebumps, because that's one of like the best things you could say to an actor, is that they're, that they're easy to work with, that they're that you feel compatible with me to work with me. And
Right.
so I think it just depends.
Yeah, and maybe like one person's belief system can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right.
It's energy, it's all
right?
energy.
And sometimes, I mean, it can. You still need, like, I this is what I feel personally, that like, there are these 4 words. If like, someone tells you, like, I know you will do it, or
You've told me that before on set.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we
say it.
we always are
Yeah.
positive to each other, like, and then we need to have, like, I believe in you. I believe you will do it someday.
It makes a
you'll make it big
difference.
someday. And you just, do you have more people around you who keep telling this to you? Or
Now,
Yeah.
now it's interesting, because people will come up to me that I went to high school with or middle school with from years ago, and they'll be like, wow, like, it's really interesting, because you've always talked about doing the things that you're doing now.
Right.
Like, you've always said that you wanted to do this, and you're doing it now. And I don't remember talking about the things that I am doing now. I actually remember not talking about it at all because I was like, I don't want people to make fun of me or cloud my judgment in this. Especially when I was 15, 16, newly doing it, nobody knew I was acting. I would leave high school and I would go straight to acting class. Nobody knew I was doing that. Nobody knew I was making a short film in high school. Nobody knew. And so when it started to come out, now people tell me, oh, you've talked about doing the things that you're doing now. And so I feel like I have more people around me now that say that I will do it because they've seen me do the things that I've talked about for so long. And so they know that if I want to do something, I'm going to go do it.
Right.
So I definitely have people, even strangers now, somehow, I think, because of the conviction in my voice.
And because you've been doing it for so many years.
And because I've been doing it for so many years. But even if they didn't know that about me, they still tell me, oh, like, I believe you when you say that. Like, I believe you when you tell me that you're going to do that because I see it. Like, I can just feel it in your voice. Like, I can feel it in you. And so that's something special because I think it wasn't as strong back then.
Right.
Because I maybe still had some doubt.
Right.
But again, I think just God has strengthened that within me over time. And so now when I do say something, I really do believe it because I believe that we are given dreams and visions and desires for a reason. My desires are not the same as yours. Your desires are not the same as mine. We all have desires that are uniquely our own. And I believe that they're planted there because you're capable of doing it.
Right.
But it's up to you to match that and meet that. So it's up to me to match my dreams and desires. Right. So I think having belief in the desires and dreams that I've been given by this life, let's say, if not God, right? Just by this life, it's my job to believe in it. It's my job to go after it. And if I believe in it relentlessly, then I'll go after it relentlessly. But if I believe, oh, maybe if I'm lucky. No, like luck is you preparing for that time that comes and you being lucky / prepared for that moment. So I think now I'm more focused on, okay, what do I need to do today to help me make sure that when that opportunity comes, when that door opens, or when that, whatever it may be, like, am I going to be ready for that? And what do I need to do to be ready for that and equipped for that? That's where my focus has switched.
Yeah.
Instead of being, not sure of if I'm going to make it one day.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know the reason you exist in this world?
To be the light. I'm going to go as far as to say I think that's why we all exist in this world, I think we've all been given an opportunity to bring light to this world. And whether we choose to do it or not is up to us at the end of the day. But again, I think when you're more in alignment with God, I'm going to say it again. then you're guided that way. There was a time in LA when I was angry and I was upset because of my family situation, and my parents were going through a divorce at a time, and I was just angry at just everybody. I was angry and I hated love and I hated this and I hated that. And so I was making choices that were dark, and that really messed me up for a bit. And it came from a place of darkness. It came from a place of hate and anger and fear, maybe, or, feeling not worthy. And I realized real quickly that that wasn't in alignment with who I really was. And that was more in alignment with what somebody else was maybe making me feel like, or somebody else's doings having an impact on me and my choices.
Right.
And so I think that was a big catalyst moment for me where I realized, okay, like, I'm feeling and experiencing this because I've been acting out of darkness. I've been acting out of hate and anger instead of acting out of love and light and goodness. So the more that I act out of darkness, the more darkness is going to be reflected to me. But the more that I act out of light and love, the more light and love will be reflected to me. So that in itself was a big shift that I had to make. But it changed my life. Now I have Be the Light tattooed on me. I have Lover tattooed on me, which I didn't even believe in love. So it's like a full circle moment, but it came from having faith that there is good out there. And just because you've experienced darkness and pain doesn't mean that's all that exists. You've
Right.
experienced that because you were meant to come out of that and maybe help other people come out of it too.
Right.
So that kind of became my purpose. And my mom tells me, she's like, I know you're very like, I want to change the world driven. And I'm like, but it's not only me that's capable of that.
Right.
Like everyone we look up to, all these, you know, even in religions, like the people that lead these religions, they are speaking.
You're fine. Yeah, that's fine.
They are speaking words of faith. They are speaking words of light and love. So like, what's different with, like, what's the difference? Why can't we do that? It's a decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, to be
Now,
like,
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, what you're trying to say, and
does it?
yeah, no, it does, and
Does it?
I feel that, you know, I think when you were honest enough to mention that you've been through so much and been through a dark phase, and you know, you need to go through a lot of things to really understand. I mean, there are people like I have so many friends who've never been through anything bad, but then when it hits them, they realize it. But until it hits them, they feel that, oh, this person is being just too dramatic.
Yeah.
So everyone goes through it. Like
Yeah.
everyone goes through a loss in life, and you know, breakups and relationships ending and stuff. And I mean, sadly, it's something everyone has to go through at some point of life. And then,
Yeah.
but that's when you understand about things, and that's when you discover yourself as well, right? Are you strong, or do you need to be strong, or do you need to be a better person? And what's your goal? And that's where I feel that I'm not someone who is still figured out my existentialism. I'm always evolving, and I feel that I know that I'm happy, I'm content with what I have, and I'm better than yesterday,
Yeah.
and I have certain people I can hold on to and feel proud that they are around me. So I'm very happy about that, and that's enough for me.
I love that.
So like, I think but I wanted to talk to you about real versus real, because you also run a company which helps people grow on social media.
Yes.
Right? Now there's a debate that people who have followers on social media, but they're not necessarily good actors, they don't deserve to be in films. And that's a debate. Like, there's a lot of debate in Hollywood where these veteran actors who are brilliant with their craft, and they spend decades like knowing the craft and working hard, and like working like for years without getting success, and finally they got success. But then you will see a kid, or someone who is 20-year-old with 10 million followers, 15 million followers cast against them, and they feel that they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Now you are someone who've been learning craft, and now you're helping other people grow social media. What's your take on that? Like, real versus real, like, people who are popular are real versus people who are actors in real.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
You know, I think our world has finally, I will say, come to a place where transparency is valued, and community is valued. And I feel like social media has allowed us it's given us the opportunity to be more transparent with our followers and our community, and build community, and allow people to get to know as much as we want to show them, instead of just press and just the interviews you do to, market a film and things like that. I think artists now have a chance to be the narrator of their own story, the creator of their own story, using social media.
Yeah.
So I do think that, these people who have built a large following using social media that are getting casted into films because they want to be in films now, I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it is a business, and where there's more attention, that will be sought after more than maybe talent.
Right.
But I do think that if there is a talented actor out there that feels that it's unfair for them, a social media influencer, to be getting these roles, then, dive deeper into yourself, and don't do it just for the craft, but do it for other people, because it's become I mean, these influencers are creating content that's not just about them, but it's for other people. Like it's for the community, it's for the audiences. They're keeping people engaged.
Right.
And I think that is beautiful because, you see actors like Will Smith now and Jennifer Lopez and even Dwayne Johnson, doing his reels. Like you see all these actors that we grew up not really getting to know them past the screen and the stories that they were casting to tell or casted to tell.
Right.
But now we're getting to know the social media versions of them, which is so much more authentic and transparent.
Right.
I think that's a beautiful thing. Like we're getting to know these actors that we've not gotten to know for years.
Right.
And so for a new actor or a new artist to come in and leverage that
Right.
as an older artist would, or a past, artist would, I think it's fair game. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are out there to sit back and complain about what's not fair.
Yeah.
But if it's not fair, then get up and go do something about it.
Right.
You know?
So that's another thing which I'm observing these days, that there are people who are struggling as actors. There are two types of people. Like I think people who are struggling as an actors, but they're showing it to people that, hey, I went for this audition and I didn't make it, but I'm better than yesterday. And they're just being transparent about their life.
Yeah.
And then people are watching them. They're growing their followers.
Yeah.
Because they're just being honest.
Yes.
They're not succeeding, but people love that. Oh, I did audition too, and I want to see what she did better than me or what he did better. And there are people who are just cursing the system,
Yeah.
but they're not putting anything on social media.
I don't even.
So it's it's like, I think if anything, social media has opened opportunity to millions now. Right? It is not limited to just one Will Smith or one Dwayne Johnson. There are
Exactly.
hundreds of Will Smith and hundreds of Dwayne Johnson. Right?
Anybody.
And then I feel sometimes it can be unfair. Like, I mean, let's say if there is a role which a brilliant actor is supposed to be casted and he totally deserves it and he was the best actor, but Mr. Beast ends up doing it.
But fair is only a perspective. Fair at the end of the day, it's fair for the people putting in the money to create this project to cast Mr. Beast because they're going to bring the money.
Right.
It's fair for Mr. Beast to get this project because he's going to be able to bring everyone money. It may be unfair for the underdog, but what's fair is only perspective. So if you feel that, these opportunities are unfair, get on the same playing field. You don't have to have 1 million followers to have a viral reel now. The algorithm works in the favor of an underdog. You could have 0 followers and start a profile and post your first video and have millions of views without having any followers. Because the algorithm is not focused on the followers anymore. It's focused on the piece of content. Right?
Right.
So there's technically, this is as fair as it's ever been.
Yeah.
We didn't have this before. The
Yeah.
algorithm used to only push content to your followers. Now it's pushing it to the whole world. If the content, if the one piece of content is good enough,
Right.
or relatable enough,
Right.
or at the right time.
Right.
So it's really just about, how bad do you want it? Are you going to sit there and complain and waste your time complaining on what you can't do? Or are you going to focus on what you can do and use those tools to do something?
And it's also scary in a way because people are now scared. I feel that people are also scared that I better be fair, because what if someone puts it on social media? And
Yeah.
that goes against me.
Yeah.
So I better be fair to everyone. Right?
Yeah.
There's some things which are very obvious, that you would cast Mr. Beast because he'll come with a celebrity and he'll bring audience and
Yes.
he'll bring millions of people to already watch it. It comes with a price.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's also fairness needed. And then again, I feel that if I have to cast someone brilliant, I would cast someone brilliant than casting Mr. Beast, because I don't think he would be able to deliver what any brilliant actor would be able to deliver.
But again, that's all goes back to perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So like if there's filmmakers out there that feel like it's unfair for influencers with a big following to be casted over great actors, go out there and create work with great actors
Yeah.
that are not being leveraged using
Right.
social media. Create what you feel is lacking.
Right.
Don't sit there and complain. I'm not, having a social media company very interesting because people have all types of opinions about social media.
Right.
And so I truly, I don't even know how I even got to having a social, it's just, it all happened by accident. I never planned on having a social media company. I just did social media for fun. I've been doing it for 15 years because I thought, starting to be an actor and going to LA and New York, I was like, I want to share this with people.
Right.
So it happened by accident, but it's very interesting to me how people are using it now as, this, I mean, yeah, we can use it to help bring us opportunity, but it doesn't have to be something that holds you back. Like, you either use it or you don't.
Right.
It's a tool.
Right.
You either use the tool or you don't. There's nothing to overthink. There's nothing to be upset about. I just think people are either going to use social media to bring more opportunity and connect more and build more.
Right.
I feel like the people that are complaining about social media are the ones that don't want to be seen, that don't want to allow themselves to be seen.
But you're an actor, right? You're going to be seen anyway, right?
But beyond that,
Beyond that. Right. So, I mean, what, again, like, owning a social media company and helping people grow their followers. Do you think it's a must these days that actors should compartmentalize a part of their life to focus on their social media growth as well? Which is kind of brand building for themselves, which is kind of like a portfolio building for them. It's kind of like a LinkedIn for them.
Exactly. So that's a key thing that you said, because, having a social media company, we're not focused on bringing followers necessarily. That's not the main thing that we focus on. We do focus on branding and storytelling.
Yeah.
Because to me, 5,000 loyal followers that engage with your content, that are invested in you, that believe in what you're putting out, that connect with what you're putting out, is better than 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
So to me, it's about allowing yourself to be seen and letting people see you and hear you,
Right.
and connect with you and get to know you. That's what it's about for me. Because when they do that, anything you put out after that, any project, any business that you launch, you're going to have people that are invested in you enough to invest in that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I do think it's important.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
How else are you going to do it?
Again, and you have to keep evolving with the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have to.
yeah.
If people don't know you, they don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, if you, yeah, that's,
and anyone
that's,
can know you now. Before, you had to be on TV, you had to be in a movie, you had to be on a talk show. Now it's literally an account you have to make on a platform.
Right.
And you can tell your story however you want to tell it. You can show people whatever you want to show them. You can be wherever you want to be, however you want to be.
Yeah.
It's just about, I think our systems and education and parenting and this and that have suppressed us so much for so many years, that now that people have a platform that's basically telling you, hey, go create, go tell your stories, go be who you are, do whatever you want, just go create on these platforms.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I don't know how to create, I don't know how to be myself, I don't know how to what's a story, like I don't know how to tell my stories. We all have everything we need to be able to create a successful social media personal brand.
Yeah.
The only thing that we lack is belief in ourselves, courage,
Discipline.
and the discipline, and the willingness to be naked.
Yeah.
Like, it's what you went through may be serious.
Yeah. That, I mean, when you see Mr. Beast and his success, that guy made thousands of videos before getting his first video viral. He predicted that at the age of, he's 25 right now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. 10 years ago, he made a video which he was supposed to release when he's 25, which is insane.
Wow.
Like, how can you make a video which you're going to release 10 years later?
Knew what he wanted.
And he kept chasing it, right? So discipline is something you cannot achieve anything in life if you don't have discipline, right?
And belief,
right?
Like, don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You don't have the same stories and experiences as them. Their stories are not better than yours. Your stories are not better than theirs. They're both. We don't have to impress all 9 billion people in this world. We just need to impress or have 0.01%.
That's enough.
That's enough. That's about 1 million
Yeah.
people.
And you can earn a fortune out of it.
But we're too busy trying to impress everybody, to get everybody on our side. Everybody's not going to be on your side. Everybody's not on my side.
Right.
You know, I have not even five friends that I can tell you. I know everybody in Houston, and you know, but it's difficult to be different, and you have to own your differentness,
Right.
to be able to really stand out in this world. You know, because if you're too busy trying to be like other people, you're going to be like other people,
Right.
and you won't stand out.
Right. I think I've never spoken about this much, but I think the reason I changed, I started building my personal brand as the scientist filmmaker. It has helped me so much. Most of the people who invest in my project, they are engineers and doctors, because they are engineers and doctors who aspire to be filmmakers,
Yeah.
and they look into my life and they feel that, oh, I can trust him because he did it, and that kind of helped me develop a personal brand for myself and a unique identity for myself,
Yeah.
which is helping me get more jobs and create more work.
Yeah.
So but it took me some time, and it takes time, and I'm still figuring out, like, you know, what is that personal branding for myself.
But it's like a code, right? You're always developing the code.
Right.
You're always upgrading the code based on where your life is going and how it's unraveling
Right.
and what you're even discovering about yourself.
Right.
People just don't see it like that. People feel like it has to be black and white. It's not.
Right.
And you're always developing. I started social media 15 years ago. My personal brand helped me launch my company. Right when I launched it, we were on a waiting list because of the 15 years I put into people getting to know me as a creator.
Right.
You know, and I have clients that come in and they're like, oh, like a month or two, they're like, oh, where are our followers? And where I'm like, y'all need to chill out. Like, y'all been doing this for 2 months. I got 15 years on y'all. Like, this is not how this works.
Right.
You can't just, it's not a Super Bowl commercial. It's not,
Right.
you know, you have to get people to invest in you.
Right.
And you have to get them invested in you for them to invest in you now.
Right.
Thank you, God. Because before anybody could sell anything to anybody,
Right.
now people actually care about who is selling what. That's a big deal.
Right.
To me, social media is the best thing that could have happened. You know,
Right.
it's breaking down all the walls.
Right.
It's exposing everybody, whether you're a good person, good business, bad business, good product, bad product, good service, bad service. It's exposing you.
Right.
Social media is exposing you. And either you're going to be on this side of things, or either you're going to be on this side of things.
Right. And you can be the face of your own product. You
control the narrative.
can have, like, now anyone can build a brand.
Yeah. You control the narrative.
Yeah. So yeah, great. I mean, Simren, I think it was so good talking to you, and I feel that
Likewise.
I feel that, you know, we it's good to meet you every time, and I feel that, you know, I see a different side of you exploring something. And there was a phase where you were just focusing on acting, and now you're juggling between these two things. And just to conclude, you know, how do you, like, this might sound like a more serious question, but financial dependability, how do you feel an actor should handle it? Because you are actor or a filmmaker or anyone, like, you know, what's your perspective on that? Because you're walking an unconventional path, which is not going to be supported by anyone. People are going to feel that, oh, he doesn't know anything, that's why he's doing acting, or she's doing acting, or probably he or she is just stupid enough to just quit their job and do this. But you have to have that financial stability as well, so that you can support yourself when no one else is supporting you. So what's your take on that? Like,
So for the longest time, I felt like I had to do this whole struggling artist thing where, you know, I was waiting tables here. So in Houston, LA, New York, like, just that's what I thought I had to do. Right. Those were the stories. And it was hard because obviously when you're in the industry, it is very difficult. You have unhealthy habits all around you. You have people who haven't quite figured out who they are, and you have all these influences around you. So it definitely took me down a little bit of a dark path. And I feel like in order for me to gain control of my life and my lifestyle again, I had to come out of it. And I didn't plan to really come out of it until a few years ago when people started approaching me about social media. And, I had businesses approach me asking me to come speak to their company about social media, do webinars. And I was waiting tables at that time. So I was like, okay, wait, what's happening? I was like, you're going to pay me how much to talk to your company about social media? So that's when I was like, okay, there's something here that I can monetize that I need to look into.
Right.
And that's when I started thinking. And, luckily business runs in my family. So it's very natural. It comes very natural to me. I listen to a lot of business podcasts. So I started developing content for a fitness influencer for like a week. And that's when I got my first social media job for this company. And then I went on to work for this other social media company. And I traveled all across the country directing shoots.
But you also made difficult choices. I mean, it would have been much easier for you to just slip into your, your parents' business.
Yes.
Right.
And I tried that. I tried that. I definitely did not. I found out early on that wasn't the choice for me. And so I definitely, I knew that I wanted to do something different. And I think I got really lucky to have had this opportunity to start my own media company. It changed my life and it's given me the freedom I needed to really get back into acting. It has kept me really busy for the last 2 years. So I haven't even been able to, I've gotten roles here and there, but I'm not actively auditioning. Like I've probably missed like 30 commercial auditions this year, which I'm sorry to my agent. She does not I don't even know why she's like, she's probably, yeah. But anyways, it's been difficult to juggle to the both of them. But obviously now 2 years into the company, I'm making it a priority next year to really hone in on auditioning again, getting back in shape, start acting classes again. So it's definitely becoming a priority again. And I do feel like I told you, because I'm older now and I have different experiences, I really feel like I'm more equipped today than I've ever been to do the roles that I want to do.
Right.
So I do think it's perfect timing because financially, I have my business and then now I have the freedom and now I have even more desire and passion to go after this thing, and I've had patience with it. I think that's been the most beautiful part is I've had patience with acting because I know that it's not going anywhere.
Right.
And I'm just becoming more of who I need to be in order to be on the screen. So I'm allowing myself grace.
Absolutely.
And everything has worked out the way that I wanted it to. But yes, having that financial backing allows me to really hone in on this the way that I want to, instead of doing it in survival mode.
Right.
Because when you're in survival mode, it's very difficult for you to, I guess, take yourself out and really be able to focus on the characters and the worlds that you're building because you're constantly thinking about paying rent or putting food on your table.
Taking risks.
Right. So it's been different, but it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being honest about all the questions, and it's always fun chatting with you. So it didn't feel like a sit down podcast. This is how we talk usually. So it's fun. Good luck with everything. Thank you for joining me. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's we say it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
You guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much.